Hey there, dog lovers. You're listening to Wag.Wander.Repeat, the podcast where every tail has a tail and every pup is part of the pack. I'm your host, Frankie, here to celebrate the joy, the mess, the magic, and the mayhem that comes with life alongside our four-legged friends. So grab a leash, a treat, or just a comfy spot on the couch, and let's dive into today's adventure. Today's episode, I'll be chatting with you about off-leash dog encounters with strangers and how these interactions can so quickly go poorly. Remember, another pet's parents' word on their dog being friendly doesn't create a good introduction for a dog, especially not a reactive one. I'll also share an inspirational story about a poodle lifeguard, talk more about Arizona's new animal welfare bill, and give some advice about how your dogs communicate through body language. So, if you're ready to dive in, let's get started with a special poodle who was just recruited to work as a lifeguard for a beach um, in Spain. While many of the beaches in Spain have dogs on their lifeguard team, nearly all of these dogs are Labradors or Newfoundlands, making Nilo is his name, Nilo, Nilo, a special new addition. Don't worry, he's just as ready to save lives, and yes, he wears sunscreen on his nose while doing so. I think I'm one of many that would love to see him in action, and other hardworking dogs on a trip to the beach, right? Like, I just love dog beaches. This really highlights how amazing dogs are and their natural instincts pairing so well with training and their natural compassion. So let's dive in a little bit to SB 1658. This is Arizona's new law. Um, if you listened to my last episode, then you'll already heard the Arizona's new animal welfare bill. And I'd like to dive in a little bit deeper today with some of the details. So, one of the outdoor shelters for dogs now must include a year-round cover and sufficient size to allow natural movement, which is awesome, right? No longer do you have full sun in Arizona here. We know how hot it gets, right? And having that sun beat down on you all day. Can you imagine these poor dogs out there without having some kind of cover? It also creates protection for service and working animals with penalties for interfering with or harming them. These are great additions to the bill that is meant to establish a bare minimum. Like other pet parents, I believe that our animals are family members. They deserve the very best. I'll hope to see more in this legislation and continued improvements for animal rights across the country. So, if you're looking for a pet sitter, I recently came across this post on Nextdoor and it reads, "Hello, I'm looking for recommendations for a doggy daycare in someone's home. My dog is 10 years old, about 8 pounds. He's a male, not neutered male. Prefer a house with no cats. He's okay with small dogs after an adjustment period." Mm. Guys, please, by all means, do your research. What I'd recommend instead of looking for private, unofficial, individual run doggy daycares is looking for a boutique, locally owned business. As an industry expert, believe it or not, I've been in this industry now for 4 years. We've had our facility for 2. I believe that the best doggy daycares are boutique, well monitored, and operating with a small human to dog ratio. There's so many incidents that happen when you have 60 plus dogs in a room that's not even meant to have that many humans in it with one human, right? We're overcrowding, we're not properly training, and we're throwing our dogs in here just hoping for the best. A business will not only be held accountable for any incidents, but the reviews will give you a better picture of their trustworthiness. And their staff should come with good dog handling experience. If you're local to the Tucson area, of course, I'd recommend Dogs of Tucson. Why wouldn't I? I'm the founder of this special place that was created for dogs to be happy, safe, and social. We're a small, locally owned business that's focused on helping dogs live happier lives, including doggy daycare, boarding, and local events. We are an indoor dog park at the heart of what we do. However, we believe that all pups deserve a safe place to be dogs. We'd love to invite your pup to join our pack. For anyone interested, you can get in touch with Dogs of Tucson through calling us, texting us, emailing us. Go to our website, fill out a form, however it's comfortable for you. We would love to get you started and talk to you about how we can help. Now, you mentioned that your dog may need adjustment period. Don't worry, we're here just for that. We understand that a lot of dogs might be nervous, under-socialized, or for some reason might not be able to pass a social eval. We'll help you with steps forward to work on that socialization. We do pack walks, we do individual readiness sessions, making sure that your pup gets comfortable before we throw it into a pack of dogs. So give us a call anytime you want. Today, I want to talk about off-leash and the don't worry, he's friendly or she's friendly, right? Welcome to Wag.Wander.Repeat, a podcast born from lifetime of love, of creativity, exploration, having a wagging tail next to me my whole life. I'm your host, Frankie, and today we're sharing why off-leash dog encounters can be so dangerous. Let's start with the basic. If you're walking your dog and you're approached by an off-leash dog that you don't know, and this happens all the time. Here in Tucson, especially, I hear about different encounters every single day. Their owner might not even be present or nearby. You also don't know if this person is a responsible dog owner. That means you can't tell right away if your dog is friendly or trained. You can't tell right away if their dog is friendly or trained. Is their dog spayed or neutered? Is it vaccinated? Is it sick? Any of this information that is important to know for you and your dog's safety. Even if the owner is present and nearby and their dog is perfectly safe and friendly, it's irresponsible for their dog to approach yours so freely. Why? If you're a pet parent with a reactive dog, you can probably imagine the nightmare of this situation. And any nervous or reactive dog wouldn't be okay in the situation. So regardless of the off-leash dog socialization and them being friendly, their presence is still creating a dangerous situation. Even if the off-leash parent is nearby and their dog is spayed and neutered, vaccinated and socialized, and your dog is socialized, there is still not a good encounter, right? Like that's created. And why do I say that? So why do I say this is still not a good encounter? Because dogs are not meeting on equal ground. Many dogs don't know if there's such a thing as good versus bad. And many people don't know what is good introductions versus bad introductions with dogs. Just like humans. If I come up and I give you a kiss when I first of all meet you, you're going to be like, whoa, 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 too soon, right? That is kind of what your dog is feeling when another dog runs up and gets right in its face, right? Dogs do better when they have a good introduction. So one dog being on leash and the other dog off leash is not always a good introduction. And that's not equal ground for your dog. The best way for dogs to meet is being able to sniff butts, right? So when we're introducing dogs at Dogs of Tucson, we make sure that the introductions are good. We help facilitate good introductions by getting good butt sniffs from both dogs to each other, making sure it's equal ground. One's not leashed and one's unleashed. We make sure that if they're both unleashed, we do certain things to make sure that each dog has its time and space to make the choice to meet the other dog, which means one dog is not running up to the other dog and getting right in its face the first time it meets. Now, a dog having time off leash is great. I'm not criticizing that at all. However, I highly recommend that they're well socialized and trained with emphasis on recall before this is ever attempted. They should know exactly what to do by your side and not to approach any people or dogs without your permission. They shouldn't be straying from your sight. They should be prepared to return to you and get leashed at any moment. So no passing by another dog owner on your walk, letting your dog approach after saying, "Oh, he's friendly," simply isn't enough. If you're with your dog off leash, call your dog back to your side, leash them, and communicate with the other pet parent if you'd like to approach. The consequences of a bad dog interaction can be violent, whether or not the dogs are friendly. The dogs should always be handled with care, caution, and consideration. If all goes well, your dog can safely make a new friend. Worst case scenario, hopefully the other pet parent just lets you know it's a no, right? And no is a full sentence. You don't have to explain why you say no. I don't love introducing dogs out in the public. If I don't know you, I don't know your dog, I don't know their vaccination status. I don't know if they're sick. I don't know if they have kennel cough. I don't know if they have another disease that's a communicable disease that my dog's going to get from meeting them. I'm thinking about my dog as my child. So I take the precautions. No is a no. End of story. You don't have to explain. You don't have to say anything else. So no passing by other dog owners, right? Let's see. My pack is one of the reasons I'm so passionate about my business and introducing the dogs the right way. Dogs of Tucson. I love walking my three dogs, Max, Maddie, and Macy. However, I encounter so many loose dogs. This includes just in our neighborhood at like neighborhood parks or while hiking. It's just like everywhere we go. In fact, one of the final pushes for me to move forward at starting this business was a nightmare situation I encountered when walking my dogs. We encountered a loose, unfriendly dog in the park by our house. It wasn't a dog park, it was just a neighborhood park. And despite trying to act fast in the situation, it resulted in a hospital stay for our youngest pup, Macy. She spent 2 nights in the ER, and those nights were terrifying. And I don't wish this on any pet parent. As you all probably know, our fur babies are truly part of families, and always heartbreaking to see any family member in need of serious medical care. You know, when she did come home to us, we had to take her back because her wound wasn't healing properly. She was in a cone for quite a while. And honestly, she became petrified of dogs and humans. And we had a path that we had to follow to get her back to a good comfort level. So, as other pet parents, you may be familiar with the dangers of not knowing whether a loose dog you encounter is friendly or not. Let's all become a part of the solution here, right? There's a solution to this problem for this by always being responsible with our pups on and off leash. This is Wag.Wander.Repeat. Thanks for listening to this segment on the dangers of off leash encounters. Please let me know if you have questions or comments. I'd love to help you. I'd love to answer any questions. And feel free to leave me your thoughts on this information below. Now, I want to dive into one other thing today before I let you go, and this is what I like to call the dog park dispatch. So, today I'd like to remind you that our dogs do talk to us, right? They tell us a ton of things. It's not always what it sounds like we do as humans, but it's through their body language. And it's important that we watch for the signs they give us, not only for their health, but for their safety and comfort. Let's start with some of the basics. For instance, their tails. A wagging tail is not always a sign of a happy dog, right? A high, stiff tail might mean that they're on alert, while a low, tucked tail might show fear. A slow wag could mean caution, while a vigorous, loose wag might mean happiness. You might see your dog's tail go from a slow wag to a fast wag, a happy wag when they're meeting someone new or trying something new. Sometimes you may not know that eye contact is, some of you may not know that eye contact is also important for dogs, right? Direct eye contact from a dog is a sign of trust and affection. Don't you love these pups and their deep eyes? I do. I love it when I catch a dog looking at me. It's the most happy thing. So, you do want to avoid eye contact because that can also signal distress or fear. Pay close attention to the signs your pups are showing you. Read their body language is one way you can be better advocates for your fur babies. Thanks for joining me for the second episode of Wag.Wander.Repeat. I hope you'll stick around and stay on this journey with me, and it means a lot to have your support. I'd love to give back to all of you by sharing my advice, answering questions, and replying to your thoughts on comments below. I can't wait to build this community of dog parents with you. So I'm going to keep sharing stories and pet parent advice so we can all focus on giving our pets, our dogs especially, a happier, fuller life. If you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share the show with your fellow dog lovers. If you've got a great dog story, a question, or something you want to hear on the show, head on over to Wag.Wander.Repeat on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube and let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep your paws happy, your heart full, and don't forget to wag, wonder, and